Yes.
What you're not understanding is there are things that I might be participating in that's creating this disease. Because I'm not confronting my dis-ease. Right? So it's important to connect all of these things. This is not that over there and that over there. It's all one system. You're one person. Everywhere you go, there you are, all of you. Is that clear? Okay.
That's good. Which is everything that she's saying, we touch on that very heavily in the full certification course. Yes.
So even though we take medicine to suppress the issue, the body is still dealing with it.
The thing is, we're not suppressing the issue. We're suppressing the symptoms of the
It's
issue.
the effect,
Exactly.
not the cause.
Symptoms,
Right.
the symptoms are inconvenient, right? So we're doing the work to try to stop the inconvenience that is getting in the way of me living my life. I just don't want to deal with that, right? So I just don't want people I can be bald-headed. I just don't want people to know I'm bald-headed, right? So cover it up. I don't care if it's actually still there. I just don't want people to see it. So I just don't want to act like it's there. So give me the medicine so I don't act like I'm always angry, even if I actually am.
Good evening, good people. It is your girl, Kai Smith, also known as your hair loss advocate. And tonight is BTC Live with Kai Smith, and we got a guest tonight. But the topic is no shade. Real conversations about embracing the role as a beauty professional. We are about to dive deep, have some conversations, talk some hard truths. Yeah, we gonna get with it tonight, but no pun intended. But I do want to get your attention, and I do want you to realize that beauty professionals, beauty industry community, it's time to rise up. It's time to rise up. So in case this is your first time joining me in this space, I want to qualify myself before we go any further. I have over 3 decades of professionally licensed experience in the beauty industry. I have well over a decade plus as a certified trichologist. I am a certified nutritionist. I am an author. I am the creator of our signature course, ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair, where we help beauty pros identify hair loss behind the chair. I am the proud founder and CEO of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, where we certify beauty pros to become functional trichologists. Also, I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a lover of God. And I'm very passionate about helping women identify the unknown factors about their hair loss, because I identify what doctors often overlook. Yes, I do. I call myself a liaison between the client and the doctor, and I bridge that gap. But anyway, what I want to bring into your awareness tonight is a whole bunch of things. So what I'm going to encourage you to do right now before we jump this thing off, buckle up your seatbelts, get ready, put your oxygen mask on, because the air might get thin, as it does when eagles go to ascend. Everybody can't breathe on that level. So we're about to take you on a journey, take you for a ride. So make sure you buckle up, get a hold of your oxygen mask, because we are coming to disrupt the path that you are on. Disrupt it in a positive way, to kind of shake you, to let you know it's time to get on board with trichology is the new cosmetology. Whether you are a beauty professional or you are a consumer seeking help with hair loss, this conversation is for you tonight. So share with your beauty bestie, share with your Facebook community, your YouTube community, share this thing out. And I forgot, because I want to go live on Instagram tonight. So I'm getting ready to hit this button so that I can go live over here while I'm talking to y'all. So share this thing out. I want to say a few things, because I got a guest on here, someone that I really admire, I really respect, someone who has a whole lot of experience as a licensed beauty professional as well. Over half a century of experience between she and I. And she actually is well versed in an area that I don't even touch on because I don't have experience in this area. So I love bringing her on to support me in this capacity. She's also an educator for the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. And I want to share her with you tonight. I want her to bring insight to you tonight on her level of expertise. So stay tuned and let's watch this intro video of this special guest we got going tonight. Davis, double certified trichologist.
While you're not shampooing, your cells are still turning over every day.
My name is Jessica Davis. I am a proud graduate of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. I am excited to be a part of this journey. I met Kai via social media about 6 years ago, and I just started to follow her. There was something about her that just was a magnet to me, and I felt that I needed something from her. What I thought I needed from her was more education, but it turned out that she has changed my life in so many ways. Being a student of American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases taught me that it was not just about the hair. It was about me as a person. And I took the class and I applied it to my life, and it made me a whole better person. I was a beast in the business, but my personal life was a complete disaster. And the whole course itself, every module that we took resonated to me. And I took it and I used it for the growth of myself in order for me to be a better person for my clients. Kai cares about people. She cares about her students. She cares about how we feel. She cares about our mindset, which is why when we come in for the IDBTC, we start out with a mindset shift, because if our mind is not whole, then we can't be good for anybody in this world, let alone our clients. I tell anyone that is looking to take a trichology course to come into a beginning course, which is the IDBTC. Don't hesitate, sign up. It's going to be life-changing, not just for your clients, but it's going to be life-changing for you.
All right, y'all. So I want to bring on none other than Miss Jessica Davis, certified, double certified trichologist, functional trichologist that is, and lock extraordinaire. Yes, yes. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Girl, I'm doing lovely. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to get into this. I'm excited.
So y'all on IG, y'all can't see Jessica. If you want to see her, then log in under Kai Smith on Facebook. But otherwise, you'll be able to hear her voice and you'll just be able to see my face. So tonight is loaded. What's that? Let's turn that up in the background a little bit. I hear those vocals. Because this is yes. What we gotta do, Jess?
Hey, well.
And if only if y'all knew what that really, really meant and why we laughing so hard. Yes, y'all gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Listen. So tonight, Jessica and we're gonna be tag teaming each other. And I just want y'all to hang in there with us because we have a lot to say. We have a lot to share, a lot of hard truths. Some things might rub people the wrong way, but if you know anything about Kai Smith's brand, I'm forever rubbing somebody the wrong way, right? God has graced me to be able to do that. And everything that I do is for the betterment of the individual, for the betterment of this industry, for us to rise up, for us to be better, for us to reach our higher selves. And we got to get uncomfortable. We got to stop. We got to stop playing the backfield because things are really real out here. The world is changing. And so as the world changes, it's not for you to shut down and be fearful and talk about, how the world is changing and we got to be fearful. God didn't make me fearful. So he made me to be in this place and time on earth in this space and time. So I'm planted And I'm planted here and ready to continue to serve in the gifting and the calling that he has placed on me. The mantle is not light, it is heavy, but I'm standing in and I'm planted in the space. So welcome, y'all. Let's take this ride. I told you to buckle up your seatbelts and pull down your oxygen mask, because, you know, you might clutch your pearls for a minute, you know, and I promise you, you know, if you can't say amen, say ouch. If you can't say amen, say ouch. So we're talking about no shade, real conversations about embracing your role as a beauty professional. And I came up with this topic because I see so many different things in the social media streets. I see so many different things on the news. I see so many different things that I'm experiencing personally with different types of service that's outside of the beauty industry. We're just in a different time where people don't have the same kind of value, right? But there are still people here that do have the same kind of value that you have. But the thing is, when we deviate from our core values, if we actually have them, when we deviate from them, that's when we actually find ourselves in a space that we don't want to be in, right? And then rather than us saying, let me take ownership for the decisions that I made that landed me in this position, we want to blame the other person for doing the thing that was not the right thing. But there was something that probably warned you, but you went against yourself that aligned you with wherever you ended up, right? There was some kind of warning. And sometimes we just don't take heed, because sometimes, you know, I just don't take heed and I ignore things. Sometimes our desire to do a thing can outweigh the intuition that we have, and it leads us into places and makes us stay longer than we want to stay and pay more than we want to pay. Right?
Yep.
So with that said, let's transition on into this good old conversation. I want to first start off with, I woke up this morning to an inbox. People like to inbox me for some reason with all of the shenanigans and stuff that's happening in the space of trichology. Tricho B, one of my AHSD students and now certified functional trichologist, has dubbed me the mother of trichology. So maybe I ain't woke. Maybe I need to stay woke, as the song says, right? And not recognizing the influence and the power that I have in this space, right? But she dubbed me, right, the mother of trichology, and I accept it. I accept that because I take that as a term of endearment and affection. So I woke up to inbox this morning that someone saw in a group. They took a screenshot, sent it to me. They saw it in a group and they were just wondering, what does this really mean? Right? What is this? Do you know what this means, Kai? And Kai don't know what it means either. So I'm asking y'all. I'm asking for myself. Jess, I'm asking. So let me know. Can y'all, Jess, everybody on Instagram, on Facebook Live, can y'all please help the mother of trichology out with understanding what a doctor of trichology is? Does anybody know what a doctor of trichology is? Because I don't know. Is that really a thing?
It is not a thing.
Jess, tell me, talk to me. Because I'm like, what is a doctor of trichology? Is my head like in a hole that I don't know what this is? Am I so full of AHSD that I don't know what a doctor of trichology is? Did I miss it?
No, you ain't miss it. It's just something that they have created now for influence on social media. It's not a real thing. And for a person to want to post like that, they should be very careful about how they are posting, because it is not true. There's no such thing. There is a such thing as a certified trichologist and a certified functional trichologist. And even if a person has a PhD, it's still not related to anything concerning the hair. So no, it's not real. It's not real.
And even if I'm an ND, a naturopathic doctor, am I considered a doctor of trichology?
No, you are not. You are considered a naturopathic doctor in that field, not related to hair.
Oh, but it ain't really no doctor of trichology?
No, it's not a doctor of trichology.
Oh, I thought I was missing
That's
out.
quackery.
I thought I needed to go back to school and go get something different so that
No.
I could be a doctor of trichology.
Yeah, it made me want to go back and do it too, but no.
I thought it was a school that was handing out doctorates for trichology. So, I'm just asking because I'm really curious and I want to know if it's something that I'm missing out on. FOMO is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to figure it out, y'all. And so with that said, I also want to talk about what our role is and how I train the trichologists at AHSD. And anybody that's in the audience on Facebook or Instagram that has encountered AHSD on any level, whether you started the program and didn't finish, or you finished with your certification, or you're still currently enrolled in the program, you can share your feedback on this, give insight on this, because my mission with the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases is to teach you physiology mapping so that you can understand physiology. You can look at a person's hair and scalp maladies as the origination. That's your starting point. And then once you start mapping the body to connect it to the integumentary system, and you go through this comprehensive consultation, which I refer to as a fact-finding mission, then at this point, you have enough data based on how they've answered these questions and other tests that you've been trained to perform to kind of bring all of this together to understand where the burden is, right? Because we're trying to identify the burden, which hence is why you are considered functional trichologists, because you're learning a lot of holistic care in this program, right? And so you're able to map the body and understand where the system of burden is to get them into a space of balance so that their hair can actually have a chance of regrowing if they've not lost any ostia, right? So at the end of the day, our job, and you guys are taught that you are liaisons. We are liaisons that actually work for the betterment of the client to enhance their communication when they go into the doctor's office to get the support that they need, and how to actually translate their hair loss into a physiological conversation versus a hair loss conversation, right? Mm-hmm. So would you say that understanding physiology, understanding the underlying issue would be necessary in mapping a recovery strategy for the individual, rather than just having them to come in and only ever doing low laser light therapy, microcirculation, oxygenation treatments, exfoliation and detoxification treatments, and what other gizmos and gadgets that you learn to purchase, over the time you've taken classes. Would you say that physiology mapping is more so a necessity than all of these other tools before you start using all these other tools?
Yeah, it is a huge necessity, because as we know, hair grows from the inside out. And if our body systems are not whole, then our hair is going to it's not going to thrive. It's not going to grow. So we do need to understand what is going on with the body systems. And then we can use that, what we find as we're doing the physiology mapping, to add on to what we see on the scalp through the scope, magnifying glasses, whatever tools that we're using to help to mechanically resuscitate that on the outside. But then we want to make sure that we're healing the body on the inside so that the hair can have a chance to survive on its scalp. So it's very necessary.
Now, and also, I would like to ask you another question. As a trichologist, or even a functional trichologist, or a hair loss practitioner, right? No matter what you refer to yourself as, are you in a position to diagnose even as little as a hair or scalp disorder? Can you diagnose that?
No, we're never to diagnose. We're not doctors, so we can't get into that lane. You can basically you see what you see, but there's at no point are we able to diagnose to anybody. That's not our lane.
Because this screenshot this morning was talking about that as a trichologist, we can only diagnose scalp disorders and hair loss. But I beg to differ with that post. Not just there is no such thing as a trichology or a doctor of trichology, nor is there any reason why we should be diagnosing any level of hair loss or scalp disorder, because diagnosis is not even under the scope of a paramedical professional. Can we recommend or suggest? Can we identify and observe? Absolutely, we can, which is why I love how I educate in AEHSD, because these are things that you learn so that you're not out here with the quote unquote, as it was called, quackery. Right? So with that said, there's so much to be learned in this space, because we can easily be misled when we're operating in this space. Nowhere are we taught in AEHSD or any other organization that I have ever aligned myself with that we are doctors and that we can replace a medical professional. Nowhere. And so I was just curious to really gain insight on what a doctor of trichology is and why one would even think that we could diagnose scalp disorders or hair loss, because we can't do any of that. All we can do is say what this looks like, the characteristic of. And yes, we are mapping the burden. We are looking for the underlying cause. I don't know what anybody else is taught anywhere else, but I know what AHSD students are taught, and they're taught to map the underlying cause. They're taught to send them to the doctor to get blood requisitions to align with the thought process to confirm and to rule out. But possibly if you've not been trained by AHSD or you don't have equivalent training, then maybe that's why you might come to a social media space with that kind of conversation. Maybe. Yeah, that's, that just really this morning, I was like, wow, it was really disturbing. And so was the person that sent it to me. They were like, what is this? What kind of foolery is this, Kai? I saw this, and this is scary that these are the things that people are thinking that are in the space of trichology, or this is what they're saying in the space of trichology, which is one of the reasons why my main mission is to support increasing awareness for professionals as well as the novice person with hair loss, because we need to understand how to switch our thought process around why hair loss has started and how we actually need to recover from it. So let's switch reels now. But before we switch reels, let's go ahead and run into a commercial real quick to give the people the opportunity to share this live out, because I told you we're stepping on pinky toes in here tonight, disrupting, because I like the truth. I like the truth. I don't like assumptions. I don't like talking around something. I like speaking facts. So this might hurt. If you can't say amen, say ouch. We love you anyway. We're just increasing awareness, and we are all adults in here, and we can agree to disagree, right? Yes. So even if you don't agree, share it, because somebody else might agree with it, right?
That's right.
We'll be right back. What?
You can give the whole world a shot, but you still got people starving and nothing. Yeah, see, ain't nobody saying nothing. Oh, you got to take this shot. You better take it. It's to save your life, and it's free. We giving it free because it's to save everybody's life. If it's to save life, why ain't chemotherapy free? Why ain't insulin free? If it's to save everybody's life, to save my life. But you got people dying of malnutrition. And we can't plant a garden over there, but we can send shots everywhere around the world. Somebody better open their eyes.
And in their heart, they know that what they're offering don't work. So don't lose your power to something that's working against humanity. Don't lose your power to something that's working against humanity. humanity. That's what's so functional about AHSD, because we understand there and we believe there that the body will heal itself when it's given the right conditions, when we stop putting the poison in it that's causing us, our cells to be disrupted. I was also tagged in a post by one of my students, Ebony Talley, and I love this post because it says, if your prescription was working, why do you got to keep refilling it?
Wow. Yeah, that was good.
If your prescription is working, why do you have to keep refilling it? I'm one who really truly believes that doctors do have their place. I believe that they do. But I believe that the place that doctors were meant to serve has actually been taken out of context. When you are in tune with your body, you understand your body and how it is wired, what makes it tick, how you feel. Then you know what to stop doing to it because it doesn't feel right. But when you're constantly filling it up with what's wrong, you normalize the symptoms. Therefore, you've normalized feeling ill. So you don't even know when your body is talking to you, when it's off, when it's on, or anything like that. So I feel like doctors' positions were only ever for acute situations, which means that if there was a state of emergency, you know, something happens where you need emergency surgery, you get into a car accident, there's some kind of freak accident, whatever might happen, you know, you come down with some kind of severe virus, contagious, you know, there is an acute situation happening there. We were never meant to be under chronic care with the doctor. That was never meant. It was never meant to be that way. But because we are irresponsible with the only place that we have been given to live, which is our body, the shell, this body, and the America that we live in places so many hidden poisons with all of these words that have every single last alphabet in it that we can't even pronounce, right? It makes us sick. Our standardized food makes us ill. The standard American diet makes us ill. And so when we are constantly putting things in our bodies that make us ill, then we're going to need medications, agonists and antagonists to simulate a function in the body, to slow it down or to speed it up, because the body is constantly being bombarded, you know, or at war. The immune system is constantly, you know, on heightened alert because we're constantly putting the pathogens in our body that's destroying it. And the immune system is constantly being overworked. We just came out of a clinical session that I thought was phenomenal. We had an amazing time over those 2 days. And it's always such a gratifying experience when you find people who have been experiencing hair loss for over a decade or more, right? And they've been to a doctor, they've been to a dermatologist, they've been offered injections, they've been offered corticosteroid topicals, they've been offered antibiotics or spironolactone, other prescription drugs, or they've been offered Ozempic to lose the weight, and then they end up losing their hair because they're suppressing their digestive system, and they think that they're lowering their cholesterol, and they would rather do the lesser of the evil and get on the Ozempic than to manage the tip of the fork, because we lack discipline. So because we lack the discipline, we end up on these medications for life, that if we just control the tip of the fork and got our mindsets aligned, sounds simple, but not so much, because but when we immerse ourselves in the environments that are healing, right, then we can offer our body and mind something different to get the nervous system balanced, to get the endocrine system balanced, keeping the gastrointestinal system balanced, so all other systems can come together and work for the greater good of the body being in homeostasis. But when everything works against us, we can't do that. And so these people who came and shared the space with us, they didn't know that they had questions that they should be asking that were never asked. They were so enlightened about the things that were happening to their body. I just remember kind of dropping in on some of the consultation pieces, and you can kind of come back in and support what you actually witnessed as well. But hearing, I knew something more was going on, but I was just given the medication. So I just didn't know what else was going on, but I knew something else was going on. I just had a gut feeling that it was something more. And you've come in here in this space in this short period of time and helped me answer questions that I didn't even know that I should have been asking for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Or saying that I got tested for this and they never came back and told me what the results were, or never told me to come back in 6 months or to a year to even retest again. You know, they didn't know that they were supposed to do that, or that that was a thing that they could do.
So, in your experience, because you're not new to AHSD, and you've been an educator on the ID platform, but you're new to educating for AHSD, for the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. So what was that experience like for you, being immersed in that space for about 18 hours over 2 days? What was that like for you?
It was very informative. I found myself taking notes. It gave me a lot of information that I can go back and fish and research on. Just to hear the clients come in with their complaints being one thing, to find out that it was something completely larger than what they thought that it was, and to watch the students do their own consultations and gather up information and do their scalp analysis, as well as the scalp micro detoxing or scalp resurfacing. It was just, it was great. Each student brought something different to the table, and being able to come back on day 2 and put all the information out on the table and watch them go and fish and bring back and give the results of what they thought. And then for you to help them, to give them the information on where to start and how to go and fish and dig for the information in order to put together a comprehensive protocol that's customized just for that particular client. It was a great experience to be in the space, to see how it really goes down. Because for me, when I did my clinicals, we did them virtual, we did them online. And to be honest with you, I was just like, man, I wish I would have been able to be a student again, to be in that space, to get that information all over again. So I would never ever forget that opportunity, and I'm glad to be able to have the opportunity to continue to be in the space. But it was great. The information that the students brought, the clients were so willing to give information. There were times where they were caught off guard by certain questions that were asked, because I don't think that they were thinking that that would be a question that a person would ask pertaining to why I'm losing my hair. I watched the students go so in depth with their consultation forms, asking questions and taking notes and doing the Zyto scanning. The Zyto scanning was very life-changing for the client, because they had never experienced that ever in their life. And to get to see what their results were, and for the students to go back and talk to them about that, gave the client more insight, and it gave them more courage to be able to go back to their doctors and advocate for themselves. And that was the biggest takeaway, because they learned how to go back with notes to give to their doctors in order to help them to further along with their recovery.
And so you say, well, first, a few things. First, not having, hey, Shar39 on IG, you say that you wish you had that experience. You know, like, if I were honest with you, I wish I had that experience, because you were during the COVID time, you know, and we weren't live or whatever. And so now that we are, it is a very robust experience, an immersive experience over those 2 days. And so, yes, Lakeisha, I use it. I use the Zyto, but I don't use the Zyto the way the Zyto has been designed to use. I have my own way that I train my students on how to use that Zyto, based on that comprehensive consultation and how they physiology map. So it is used completely different than probably what you've been taught how to use it. And I do not teach you how to use that on the ID level. You're taught how to use that on the AHSD level. She says, cool, because I'd be confused. Yes, you would be, because there's a lot of negative numbers and, you know, all of these reference ranges and all of that stuff. So there is a really cool way that I've taught my students how to use it, where they're not relying on the Zyto. Basically, what the Zyto is doing is confirming the data that they've received and the thought process that they have based on the fact-finding mission that they've taken the customer on. And we're using the Zyto to actually confirm or rule out our thoughts. So the Zyto is not the front runner in what we do at all, because I have a specific way that I've taught my students on how to physiology map. And so that is the biggest piece that sets AHSD apart, is because you're taught how to physiology map. And that is everything, which leads me to, well, I saw her question. I got two things in my head. So first thing is, you were saying, I wish I would have had that experience. And so what I want to say to those who are AHSD alum, who are not a part of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases annual membership, that I offer for any member of that program to come in complimentary under that membership. You can come into any one of those clinicals without paying any additional money at any time that we're having a clinical, as long as there's space available to you, so that you can come in and get that refresher when you need to come back in and get that refresher. So as long as you're enrolled in the membership program as an AHSD alum, then you have access to come into those hands-on clinical trainings that we offer 3 times a year here in Houston, Texas. I will say this though, if you are not an AHSD alum, meaning you have not gone through the full 18-month certification course, nor have you gone through, if you are currently a certified trichologist through another organization, not taking their associate program, not taking anything less than a full certified certification program, if you are certified, you will be able to go through our 90-day fast track trichology program, which will qualify you for those clinical trainings, but you will have to be a member of the membership program in order to gain access to that. Now, my next thing is, you said you're teaching them how to fish. And so this question is loaded, because you said, I'm teaching them how to fish, and it was awesome to watch that piece, how that piece plays out, how I give them guidance. But the fishing part comes in when they're actually putting together all of the information that they've gotten, the data that they've extracted from the customer. They're putting all of those pieces to the puzzle together. And there are a lot of different components, which I will not list all of those different components here in this space, because that is, you know, confidential information that we do inside of the program. But when you put together all of those components that you've extracted during the time you've had with the customer, there is a research time. Yeah. During that research time, you have to understand exactly what you're researching, and you have to understand the hierarchy of the body, so that you can go in and put together a recovery strategy. So my question is two things. Why is it important? Why do you feel like it's important to fish? And then the second question goes back to how we started this conversation about doctors of trichology trying to tell you what your underlying issue is and trying to treat your underlying issue. I want to know from you, do you feel like if you don't understand the underlying issue, that you will be able to do anything that we do in AHSD? Why?
No, it will, because you have to pinpoint where the root of the problem is. Otherwise, it's just going to be surface. Of course, you can use a tool. You can go in and microneedle, or you can go in and dermal abrasion or scalp resurfacing or aquatic mist and try to resuscitate the follicles. But without knowing where the burden is, you will never, ever be able to help a client to retain hair on their scalp. So when I say we're going in and we're doing the research, we're starting out where the client has given us the most information. And that information, we're taking it and we're breaking it down into sections. And we're going in and we're doing the research on, well, what does the endocrine system do? What does the respiratory system have to do with the circulatory system? What does the endocrine system have to do with the circulatory system? Or what does diabetes have to do with vitamin D? And we have to go in and research and tie in everything down to what system is sounding out the loudest. And that's something that a person has to have complete knowledge and understanding of trichology and hair loss in order to understand where to go with that. So if we don't understand physiology mapping, then we're not going to be able to help a client, and we're just going to leave them helpless and hopeless in the situation. It's important.
So what I would like to add to that, based on how we started this conversation, is that if you are a trichologist, or if you are a customer that is sitting in the seat of a trichologist or online with a trichologist, and they cannot correlate your hair loss with the integumentary system, you need to run. Yeah. If they're only ever talking about surface issues and they're telling you things like, oh, your hormones are just out of balance, this is why this is happening. Oh, or you're just stressed, this is why this is happening. If they're very vague about your situation and they cannot give you facts about what is happening with you for you to actually feel empowered enough to go and enhance the conversation that you're going to have in the doctor's office with the proper testing and knowing why you're getting these tests, because there are a battery of tests that can be run. But if you don't know the right test to pull, if you don't understand the pattern of test, when a person shows up with X, Y, and Z situation, then my trichologist will understand exactly what this pattern looks like and what blood test they should suggest that the actual doctors pull, so that we can open up this can of worms and get an understanding. Because a lot of times I've personally been in a situation as a certified trichologist where I uncovered lupus in the client. Did I diagnose her with lupus? Absolutely not. But did I open it up? Did I put the pieces together for her so that she can take it and present it to her doctor and get the proper testing done that exposed the lupus? Absolutely, I did. And so this is what I train trichologists to do. This is not about you diagnosing. This is not about you trying to prescribe something. This is about your vast understanding of body systems as it relates to the hair. This is about your not just understanding body systems, because you can understand how body systems work and how they function, but its functionality working right for the customer is not the issue. It's the malfunction of the body systems that is the issue. So if you don't know how to interpret the language the body is speaking, then you got a problem. And if your trichologist cannot interpret the language the body is speaking through the hair, you need to run. If you are a trichologist that cannot interpret the language the body is speaking through the hair, you need to come see Kai Smith at AAHS or ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair. Or if you're current certified and you don't know how to maximize on the information that you currently have, then you need to hop in the 90-day fast track so that you can get the meat of what you need, so that you can be out there on the front line and you're increasing longevity, people's lifespans, because of this trichological information you have and being able to get to the underlying issue, if you will. Right? So at the end of the day, I can go on and on and on about, the position that we hold as trichologists, the universe, as I like to call it, of trichology, because I reference it the universe when I'm talking, and there's a reason why I say universe of trichology. And so I want to kind of transition a little bit, because I want to go into our hot topic, if you will, with this. And we got two hot topics that we want to talk to you guys about tonight. So let's get ready to transition into that hot topic. Let's run that first scammer video if we can.
Houston, we have a problem.
Reports of scams targeting clients who want that style, and they're using real stylists' work to do it. News 2's Corey Johnson explains.
I'm Portia, the all-in-one diva. She does it all.
For the last 10 years, Portia Hensley has braided hair. She got licensed in 2005, shortly after opening her own salon, Divine Innovation 615 in Nashville.
I do box braids, I do weaving services, I do feed-ins, I do twists.
With summer in full swing, braids are a popular protective style to book. It's not uncommon for clients to get on social media and find braid styles that they liked. These styles can cost hundreds of dollars. In order to book them, it's common practice for a small deposit to be made in order to be placed on the stylist calendar. It's work Portia tells News 2 she's found passion in.
I feel creative. I feel like, I feel like I'm creating something for my client that empowers them to go through life and their day feeling good and looking good about themselves.
But the braiding booking process is something scammers are now onto. According to the Better Business Bureau of Middle Tennessee, they've gotten reports of bad actors taking pictures from other stylists and posting them to fake social media pages, claiming they can do the work. Then, when a potential client goes to book and sends a deposit, they don't find out until their appointment when they never hear from that person that it was actually a scam. It's a legal activity that's impacted Portia's business this year.
I had a client call and say, hey, I'm at the door, and I'm like, what door? You know, I'm with the client, and we come to find out that the person actually took their money, took a deposit. It was shocking that they used so much of my stuff that I work hard for, and I felt bad that I couldn't help her.
And Portia isn't alone. BBB officials say they've received a few reports of scams involving braids.
Unfortunately, social media scams are not new. We see scams ebb and flow every day based on what's going on in the marketplace.
There are a few steps you can take to make sure you don't fall victim, including never pay for a service in full before the appointment. Visit the location where the braider claims to work before booking. Verify their work by searching for the stylist online and typing in scam after their name. And ask for their braider license number and look them up. Despite a scammer using her pictures, Portia says she's not deterred from continuing to do the work she loves.
No, there's nothing that anyone can do to stop what's in store.
Corey Johnson, News 2.
Now, if you or someone...
All right, so that conversation is loaded.
Yeah.
Again, say amen, say ouch.
Amen.
This is a hard truth conversation that I'm about to have, because it might not sound like what you think it should sound like. So as professionals, we're out here in this social media land. You know, everything is quick, fast, and in a hurry. Everybody has a broadcast. Everybody is promoting. You know, some of us are promoting without watermarking images, you know, all kinds of things. This is why, you know, we want people to see our work, but a watermark works great in areas that can't be cropped out without disturbing the actual thing that they're promoting. So no one can actually re-promote your stuff erroneously as a scam. But here's the thing. As cosmetologists, barbers, braiders, natural hairstylists, whomever, we have all these rules before they can get in our chair. We have relied so heavily on these electronics. And I don't know about y'all, but just last Friday, it showed you exactly where to get you if you only rely on electronics to do your business. If everything shuts down and you are only electronic, how are the people supposed to get to you? If you only accept people making appointments online, if you ain't taking no phone calls and they ain't got no number on you, and you only relying on social media or in some kind of platform booking system, and it goes down, then your money is going to stop. And I need you guys to understand that. I'm not saying that you have to be Fred Flintstone and be, you know, back in the Stone Age days. But what I'm saying is we also have to think about the worst case scenario when we go into creating these systems. We don't want to be so locked into things that we can't back out of it and they end up working against us. Because what I do know is the same thing that'll make you smile will make you cry, right? Same thing will make you smile will make you cry. So we got to understand that. No different than in AHSD. I don't teach my trichologists to rely on tools. Their brain is their tool, which means I'm not telling them that they should not have tools. It means that I am telling them how to work and get their job done without the tool. There's this scope that is pre-programmed that has all these different scalp disorders, has all these different hair loss types in them, and all these different things that you can type in what you see, and so that you can get the result. That is why do you need a trichology certification if you're going to use that scope? That is your scope. That is a scope. That's the scope for dummies. Yeah. We wanted to do it for us. I don't teach my students to rely on the tools to get the job done for them. They know how to use things that complement and that can get things done faster, but they also know the archaic way and how to get it done with their brain or by hand if they have to. No different than all these different, blood test templates and stuff that you can drop this stuff in and it spit back out to you what's wrong. If you don't know how to read blood tests and you don't understand the blood patterns on your own and that system goes down and you're a trichologist that's relying on that system and it goes down, then how are you going to actually be able to tell your client where the system of burden is if you don't understand how to read blood patterns and you don't know what it means when you have elevated eosinophils or elevated neutrophils, let alone you might not even be able to pronounce a neutrophil or eosinophil because you don't even know what it is and how it relates to hair loss or anything else for that matter, right? So these are the things that I teach in AAHSD. But anyway, that wasn't where the conversation was going. I just got a little hot, y'all. So let me reel it in, Kai. Let me reel it on in. My point that I'm making is that when we are out here searching for services, there is a level of responsibility and accountability that we have to take as the person actually searching for a service. So I say, how were you really scammed? Right. You didn't do your due diligence. Were you looking for something cheap? Were you looking for something that you really shouldn't have been getting? How did you land with this scammer? Because there's so many things that you have to do to check all these different boxes before you actually show up to let someone do your hair. So we got to be more accountable as the person seeking the service, but also we've got to be more accountable as the person rendering the service as well. Right? There's so many different ways for us to protect our assets. If you understand how to build a brand, you understand what brand assets are, and you understand how to protect your brand assets. And one of them would be watermarking, so nobody can steal your pictures. Another would be, being able to search what's going on online. But at the same time, some of us are just in business because we understand a trade and not understand how to be in business. And we're out here trying to build a brand just based on pictures and not necessarily knowing how to give that brand experience. And then the other party is out here trying to get something for cheap or trying to get something real quick, fast, and in a hurry. They're not doing their due diligence. For me, when I'm searching for something, it's a word of mouth thing for me. I'm not going to somebody in the dark, in the blind to get anything done. So this is why I'm saying we got to take accountability. But when there's a scammer alert, that puts a bad taste on our industry, making it seem like we're scammers, so that when we do say we require this deposit, we require X, Y, and Z. Now it's, I don't want to pay because I don't know if you're going to scam me. So how do you position yourselves as the authority, as this professional expert, so that you don't fall in the category with being tagged as a scammer, because this is what's being blasted all over the news? First, you should already be in a place of professionalism, operating as a professional, not as a hustler. But we have so many people. I was watching, Jessica, you actually posted this video, I believe, where the girl left with a portion of her hair unbraided. What was that video about? Help me with that.
So she scheduled the appointment. The stylist scheduled it for that specific day. The night before, she called her and said, "Can you come another day?" But she also had it in her description that if you can't spend a certain amount of hours that's necessary, then don't book the appointment. But she called her and said, "Can you come tomorrow?" Which the girl said, "I really don't have 8 hours. I only have 6 hours. Can you do the service in 6?" And she said yes. So she allowed her to schedule. So the next day, she came in for the appointment. She started to braid her hair. The braider was on the cell phone talking to people. She was texting her friends and putting the phone down. And meanwhile, the client had something to do at that 6 hour mark. And so she told her, she's like, "Well, are you going to be finished within this time period? Because, I have something to do." So the braider was like, "Well, I told you not to schedule if you had something to do." She's like, "Well, I scheduled it on the day I didn't have anything to do. You called me to tell me that you needed me to reschedule. And now we're into this 4 hour mark and I still only have this side of my hair done and I have to go." And so the braider got into an argument with her about, "Well, I don't have time to, go back and forth with you, blah, blah, blah." And so she said, "Forget it. I'll just leave and I'll go and get someone else to finish my hair." Left, didn't get any money back. The braider didn't apologize for her actions. It was just very irresponsible behavior and non-professional energy that she gave her. She said, "I don't want you in my hair with this energy. So I just elect to leave with my hair halfway done." And she left.
And so with that said, that type of behavior is a sure way for you to fall in the category as a scammer, because your behavior warrants scammer. But if we show up professional, it's one thing to have guidelines, because we all have guidelines that we have to work by in our business. Because when I create guidelines, my guidelines keep me in check first and then keep the client in check second. I never create guidelines to govern the client. I create guidelines to govern me. And what I mean by that is I need to understand what my time looks like. I need to understand how my day is going to flow. I need to understand how much I have with a client so that I can give them what I've promised them. Right. Because in my brand, I have a promise. So I need to understand how much time have I allotted to give them this promise, to make good on this promise. How much time am I going to tell them to carve out for me? Because I respect the time that they're carving out for me, and I want to stay within that time frame. So my guidelines govern me first. I never create the guidelines to govern the client. I always create them to govern me. And then I create more guidelines as I have poor experiences with clients, because I don't like the way that it makes me feel. And I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like I've been used. I don't want to feel like I've been mishandled. I don't want to feel like I've been underappreciated. So I also create those guidelines because for the most part, about 90% of the time, it attracts what I desire, so that then I am excited about rendering and serving in that space of my business. Therefore, I create a great brand experience for the user of my brand, right? So the guidelines aren't created for the customer. And I think that's where I differ, and where most people who are professionals and they understand how to build a brand, the elements of brand building, then they don't create guidelines for the customers. But I think for what we have moved into a space where we are now creating guidelines for customers. And that is where you go wrong, because you're trying to manage a person that is outside of you, which makes no sense, because you can't manage the person, no matter what kind of guideline you have. Because even if you have a set up for them to give you a deposit, if they pay with an American Express, baby, American Express is deaf on fighting for their customers. So if they want to get that money back, it don't matter what kind of deposit they paid. None of that. American Express is going to fight for that customer. And if you're not a good person, a person who practices good business habits, and you don't have them sign the right things and sign close enough to that policy, then when they go to do that chargeback on you, baby, that bank is going to do the chargeback, and then you're going to be told, I'm sorry, but you didn't have them sign, or there was no initials that was close enough to this rule or guideline. And so there are so many stipulations that we are creating situations around that won't be held up in the court of law because we don't understand the guidelines that we're creating. Have you ever thought to have a paralegal or a lawyer look over your guidelines to make sure that they are even, legal before you actually put them into place?
No.
Right? So we are creating guidelines that are causing scammers to be able to come in on our poor business practices, because some of those guidelines are just foolishness in the first place, right? And some of them are not. Some of them are real guidelines that should be in place. But the scammers will be the front runners of how people view the beauty industry. And then the ones of us who have the poor behavior, who have scammer-like behavior, who may not be a scammer, but more so just a hustler.
Right.
Will then be presented as evidence as why they can't trust this industry, right? So, I mean, I have so many thoughts around that and how we need to be accountable. I done put this hair tie on too tight tonight, y'all. That's why y'all see me keep tugging at it. But we need to learn how to build our businesses better. We need to learn we need to go and get some training on proper business etiquette, proper business practices. We need etiquette all around in this industry. And this conversation right here is not just about trichology. This is about leveling up as a whole in our business so that we are not labeled as scammers when we present our guidelines. And please, if you don't get anything else from this segment of the conversation, I would implore you to make sure that when you create your guidelines and the guidelines that you've currently created, go down the list and see if these guidelines are to govern the people or to govern you, because your guidelines should be to govern you. Yes, and you need to check with your county to check the legalities. Tracy says, you are so right, Kai. Tam says guidelines are created to make sure we render supreme services. Absolutely. And so I think we've gotten so far away, and now, scammers have been able to come into this space and take advantage of things that were already taken out of proportion in our industry to begin with, because a lot of these guidelines that some of these beauty people come up with, and you notice I didn't call them professionals, beauty people that they come up with, they can't even, they owe themselves a lot of money.
Yeah, because I was even thinking about run your business like it is a legit business. You have people that have Cash App that accept Cash Apps, and they have Zelle accounts, but they're all on their personal accounts. Like your Cash App, if you're going to accept a Cash App and you have a legal business, then your Cash App name needs to be your business name, not ABCD123 or whatever over here across the street, right? And if you have a Zelle account, your Zelle account needs to be connected to your business account, not your personal bank account. And so we have a lot of people that are operating not like business. They're operating like it's their in-home hobby. Then for a person that's searching for someone to braid their hair or style their hair, they need to be looking for, is this professional? Is this a professional business? Pick up the phone and call and ask, what is your name? What are your credentials? Because I remember there are times where people used to call me and I wouldn't discuss my prices over the phone. There's certain things that I just wanted the person to come in to see me for. And then I'm like, that can't always be a rule, because people may not always be able to come in. But if I just give them a ballpark price as to what it's starting at, then it'll give that person more confidence to come in and say, okay, I'm here, I would like to go forward. But if I just tell them, oh, I don't discuss my prices over the phone, you have to come in and see me, and they somewhere in a whole nother state, I will miss on that client. So you have to operate in business and not in like you say, hustle mentality or scammer like mentality, and not be on social media searching and fishing for the people that you can gather to come in, because all money is not good money, and all clients are not going to be good clients. And people are looking to just make a quick dollar. And for them to, I've seen even where someone posts on social media that they paid a deposit, they were given an address to show up to the next day, 24 hours, I'll give you the address that you need to go to. And they show up at an empty, abandoned home. That's, but you didn't even think to vet or ask questions before you started trying to get this appointment. You just saw it was cheap. It was a good style, and that's what you thought, and that's what you went with. But so that, again, it's a two-way street. It's the person that's running the business and the consumer being responsible on both ends.
Absolutely. I completely agree and couldn't have said it better myself. So let's run one more commercial before we go into our last segment. Let's run that commercial real quick. We'll be right back.
I always thought I was saying I didn't want to be a trichologist, but sitting in here made me realize that it's stuff that I needed to know to help the next person, to help myself.
I guess with the correction came direction, because I knew I needed to get a little more education in order to be able to help them the correct way.
I think that trichology takes some time to get. I said, but I want over here, so you need to call Kai. So this is where I'm going.
This book, but your next level is the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. It isn't this book, because what I have for you in AHSD, this book can't help.
Once you get into it, you're gonna want more and more and more. So, like I said, this is my 4th time here. I think I said on my 2nd visit, I don't feel like I ever need to miss an ID.
And you haven't since you've been here.
I haven't missed the ID since I've been in the
so you just exercising, you're giving us that on-the-job training. So I'm thankful for that.
The strength comes from your creator. So I need you to shift that strength. And it's the surrender. And it's the vulnerability. And vulnerability does not make you weak. Vulnerability makes you strong.
ID just gets me every time, y'all. I see these videos, and even though I've been immersed in the space and I am the facilitator of the space, and I have some amazing people who support me with making this come to life, every time I see a video from ID, it just amazes me how God shows up in that space, how he uses me to say things that I don't even know that's in me to say. Like, I'm just truly surrendering and operating under this anointing that he has given me every time we come to ID, which brings me to, I want to highlight ID, October 19th through the 23rd. It is the last call. We are calling you to elevate your business so that you can build wealth strategies for long-term success. It is a 5-day trichology intensive for licensed barbers and cosmetologists. Who do we have that is going to be there? Who's up first? What we got? Woo, we got Dr. Joy K. Madison. Like, there's so much to be said about this woman. She is a psychologist. She supports emotional well-being, and she's a practitioner and an advocate for self, helping you to support yourself. And we believe in helping the cosmetologist, the barber, the beauty professional who has decided to pause life for 5 days and join us at this incubator. We fill you up first so that you understand how to love on you. You understand what you need, because you cannot serve anything external with being pure, with purity, until you've actually served yourself first. Right? And so Dr. Joy K. Madison supports us with coming back home to ourselves. Who do we have next? We have Miss Micheline Barber, impacting the minds of millions. Mitch is a powerhouse in and of herself. She always brings the walls down when she comes into the space. And I'm sure she's going to do this in October, especially because it's the closeout. It's the finale of 2024. So y'all want to be there. Y'all don't want to miss it. Who else we got? We got Miss Dania Durden. She is an AHSD educator also. Dania's role in that space is whatever I throw at her or whatever time I need her. But the biggest thing that she does at the space of ID is educating you on how to connect the scalp and gut microbiome. So she does a lot of the hands-on therapies, supporting you with becoming a certified scalp microbiome specialist, also with helping you understand how to map the scalp. So all these things are important and they tie together over 60 hours worth of education during those 5 days of training. Who else we have? We got Miss Jessica Davis, certified trichologist and Sister Locks educator. Now, this is a very unique segment that we have. Jessica also plays a role in the hands-on portion at ID. Her portion is a little bit different because she's supporting you from a natural hairstylist or loctician's perspective. But it's not just any perspective, it's from a trichological perspective, understanding the terrain of the scalp, of a natural scalp, someone with locks, someone with any kind of lock, sister lock, traditional lock, whatever that might be, helping you understand what you're looking at on that scalp, how to move forward in treatment. Even if your client has damage, helping them understand why there is damage, if they have the right type of lock, so on and so forth. If you want to know more about what Jessica is doing, you got to come in to her segment, which means you got to spend 5 days with us to learn all about her. Because it's very unique and it's a space that I continue to stay immersed in because it's something that I'm not well versed in. Chris Bond, branding and marketing specialist. Yes, we got to teach you how to market yourself as this hair loss first responder and certified scalp microbiome specialist. So we have someone coming in to show you how to now transition from just being a cosmetologist or a barber into actually being a hair loss first responder, which is this hair loss practitioner that is going to be serving on a higher level. So we want to show you how to promote yourself. We want to show you how to show up differently in creating that digital footprint for yourself. Marsha Mayfield, tax and business strategist. Like, I can't say enough about this segment because we all want to make more money, but we don't know what to do with the more money that we make. So I'm gonna just leave it right there. Y'all need to be there for Miss Marsha Mayfield segment. Most definitely. And we have, where's Tam? Where's Tam? Where's Tam? Where's Tam? We have Tam Waters, hair loss and non-surgical hair replacement specialist. Now, this is going to be her first time actually educating on the platform of ID. And I'm so excited to have her join us because as a non-surgical hair replacement specialist, there's so many things that you're missing if you don't have the trichological knowledge. And Tam understands trichology. Although she's not a certified trichologist, she has enough experience under her belt to identify what's happening on the scalp, to be able to map the scalp, understand what's happening there before she chooses the different materials that she's going to move forward with when actually rendering these types of services. And she wants to share this insight with you, as well as sharing with you how to utilize your non-surgical hair replacement specialty and by leveraging government contracts as well as billing medical insurance. So we got it all covered in this space for y'all. So I don't know why y'all haven't registered yet. I don't know what you waiting on. I don't know what you got to do in October, but it cannot be more important than coming to a conference that is going to show you how to create an additional 6 figures for you to be able to employ your dollars and live the life that you deserve to live and also retire comfortably. So get up in there, move into the position of the authority, not just behind the chair, but at the bank, right? Yeah. So listen, I want to go into, would you say that the value went up? Absolutely, Tam. The value went up. The moment you step foot in ID, your value went up as a hair loss first responder, as a cosmetologist, as a barber, what Angela's saying. And I'll be on the ones and twos on the tambourine, IDBTC. IDBTC. Y'all have to be there. We know we don't sound corny. It's just we excited about what we do in that space, right? It is serious space, but we have so much freaking fun in that space with each other that it's not even fun. God lays us out. He makes us laugh. He makes us cry, act silly. We be delirious because we're tired, but it's all good. You come out of there renewed, restored, refreshed, revived, and ready to increase your value in the marketplace. And that's what it's really, really all about. Shawnette says, how do we register? The actual link is scrolling at the bottom. And if we can actually put it up somewhere on the screen in bolder writing, that will be good if we have it. But it's scrolling at the bottom. And we still have a 3-pay option right now. There's the link, Shawnetta, and whomever else may want it. Shawnette, I'm sorry. And whoever else may want it. I no longer really share the links on my social media pages anymore because for some reason, my posts get taken down. I don't know what's happening. If somebody is reporting me or whatever is happening, I don't know, but we're going to still be great anyway. And now we have the link here for you within this live, and you can jot it down and you can click on over there. And it should still be a 3-pay available for you to make 3 payments 30 days apart from each other. So with that said, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in the building because we are allowing you to lay away this education for you to be great. We have flexibility when it comes to your growth. And we have you in mind when we created all the full experience for IDBTC. Now, hopefully we'll see you there, Shawnette. Hopefully we'll see. Yes, 3-pay is available. That's getting ready to end though. As we near the end of this month, that 3-pay is going to go away. Now, I want to talk to you, Jess, about something that you saw online. Can we roll that image so that we can see? Talk to us about this. What's this about, Jessica?
So this is actually a client that came in to the salon. She came in a couple of weeks ago in tears, saying that she thought that she was going to need to cut her locks off. Because of the scarring alopecia. She had been to dermatologist. The dermatologist gave her 5 rounds of the Kenalog injections, which were very painful, did her no justice. Advised her that there was nothing else that she could do for her except to give her the spironolactone medication, which the client chose not to take, which I agreed with her at that point after we did some research on it. But she came in today for her shampoo and scalp resurfacing service. And as I was going through her locks, I kept noticing that there were locks that were combined together in an incorrect way. First of all, we're not combining locks. And if you can kind of, I didn't take the picture really close, but there are probably like maybe 4 or 5 strands of hair that one lock is hanging on to. So think about the fact that the scalp is already sore. There's inflammation, erythema going on in that scalp. She's lost hair already. And so you have 2 locks combined together, which has a lot of irregular looping cycles. So if you can kind of look at one of those, you can see what the locks are kind of regular on one side. And then when you look on the opposite side, it's like you see humps and lumps in them. So imagine those 2 strands of those 2 locks together, combined together, and you're trying to retighten and going in through a small square. And every time you go into that square, you're breaking more strands off of her hair. So I had to go through her whole entire head and release the 2 locks. One of the locks that was the healthiest one I would save, and the other one that wasn't so healthy and that was thin and hanging on by strands, I went ahead and let them go in order to give her a better outcome, so to speak, and lift off some of the weight of the lock off of her scalp. So that was a whole situation and a session within itself. But my main thought process about this is for those of you that are locticians that do things like this, you need to be in a trichological space to find out why this is the reason why you should not be doing this to people, right? It's not even okay for a person that has high density hair, let alone for a person that has low density hair. But for a person that has scalp issues and scarring alopecias, erythema, that is a no-go at any time. And so you need to be in a space, if you're looking to switch over and transition from natural hair or regular hair into the lock community, go take a class and get knowledge on how a lock is supposed to be established, who is a candidate for these locks, who's not a candidate, and why. And when people come into your chair with situations like this, you need to learn what to do for them and why. You know, this is a very serious issue because she has severe hair loss. And we're working on trying to restore the areas back to health, because of course we're not going to get any hair back in that scarring area, but at least give her some type of relief, so that she won't lose any more locks that are on her hair, or any hair for that matter. So it's very important to not just think you can go to social media or go to YouTube and say, I'm a loctician or I'm a natural hair care expert without any type of education, because this is what's happening in the lock community. You know, people are coming for assistance, and most of the time they come for locks as a last resort. And so, you know, we can't save everybody, but you need to be in that trichological space of ID and AHSD to learn what you can do for your clients, and how the physiology map in order to not only help her on the surface, but help her internally as well, because she has a lot of issues with her internal body systems that we're going to go working on after we get past these issues that we have here. So combining locks is not a thing, not in this capacity, and you have to know when and why you're going to do that.
That's good stuff. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love her, because even though I am very well versed in hair care, trichology, this is not my lane. Locks is not my lane. And so I like to actually utilize Jessica's genius, because that is something that she has studied in depth, and she can bring light to this for those of you who call yourselves, you know, locticians, and you're establishing your own techniques. And, you know, it's good to be very innovative. I'm all for innovation, but make sure that we're not being innovative and actually causing more harm, because we think that we are actually coming up with a new concept. Oh, this is good. I'll do this or I'll do that, and we're actually tearing up the hair, if you will, right? So coming and sitting under Jessica's tutelage will really save your clients, because although your clients have locks, they still have to care for their hair, no matter what. So locks is not a carefree style. It is something that still needs attention, and it needs attention from a person who has that expert eye to be able to respond to these things. And the longer the locks get, the heavier they get, the more traction they will cause. And it's not just locks, it's the braids too. People going in and getting these braids done and thinking that, you know, they want to pull them up in buns. They want to do all these, you know, cute things to them. It's pulling, it's causing the hair to not be in natural fall, and you will experience traction alopecia. And sometimes that can turn into a secondary alopecia. Jess, are you frozen?
I'm froze.
Your face is froze, but we can still hear you.
Okay, so, I'm frozen.
So with that said, I just kind of wanted to bring attention to Jessica's expertise and why her segment is so unique and all the value that it is bringing to the space. Because even if you're currently a trichologist, that doesn't necessarily mean that you understand how to properly move someone into a trichology recovery plan with locks, because there's so many different things that actually needs to happen. And there are several trichologists who actually consult with Jessica on how to move forward with their trichology lock clients so that they don't do any harm. Is that right, Jessica?
Yes, it is. I work very closely with a lot of trichologists that have lock clients that come in, and I'm honored to be able to be the middle person to assist on that journey. And I love, what makes me so happy is when I give the feedback, and the trichologist takes the feedback and goes forward, and I get to see the end results or the ongoing results when the hair starts to grow back or the scalp gets healthier, and then the locks are still being able to be maintained. Whether if it's just something as so simple as, you know, cutting off a couple inches just to give a person the opportunity to let the weight not be so heavy on the scalp. But I just appreciate the fact that the integrity for the trichologist for coming to me to ask me for my advice on how to go forward with their clients. The integrity is level that they have is very high, and I really appreciate it, and I'm honored for that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because they could just be trying to do anything, you know, just saying, cut your hair off. It's not going to work. I can't help you. But they actually reach out for assistance. They care.
Yeah, but see, this is the beauty in collaboration. Because although, you know, I'm a trichologist, you're a trichologist, there's certain pieces of that I would rather lean on you for to support me with. And that's just having integrity and saying, you know what, this is not my genius. Let me reach out to Jess. Let me see what her recommendations may be on this, you know, so that I can move forward. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to improve the situation for the client. It's not about me. And everyone should move forward with that, having the client's best interest at heart. And sometimes we gotta move and collaborate with others who may have more insight on a certain situation than we do.
Right. And it's not about, you know, taking someone's client. It's about just offering that expertise and that experience. You know, we have to get out of, I don't want to reach out to this person, and I don't want to send my client over to this person for this assistance because the client may not come back. You know, it's all about teamwork and who can help the person better. So my goal is if someone reaches out to me locally and they have a client that they don't understand how to assist them and they have locks, I bring them in for the trichological experience only. Once and I work with the client and the consultant or the loctician, and we work together as a team.
Good stuff. You guys, we have been with you for an hour and 25 minutes and counting, and we really appreciate you dialoguing with us, you know, being with us this evening, because we had a lot of hard conversations to discuss with you tonight. And some of us might have said, ouch. I saw a few ouches, you know, in the comments. So thank you for your transparency. Some may have said amen, but none of this is meant to offend anyone. And so if you get offended by anything I'm saying, then maybe we need to go within to see why we're offended, because I'm speaking nothing but the truth in this space. So I appreciate your participation in this. I want to go to our last commercial because I am a proud sponsor of the Impulse Summit, created by none other than Micheline Barber, that is taking place in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina in September. I will be bringing some fire education to the main stage. So I want you guys to meet me there, and I want to give you a little information about why you should meet me there. So stay tuned to this video.
Welcome to Impulse Summit, where beauty meets opportunity. Elevate your brand, ignite your passion, and join us as a sponsor. At Impulse Summit, we're not just redefining beauty education, we're revolutionizing it. Our approach goes beyond the surface, addressing the spiritual, personal, and professional dimensions of every attendee. Let's shape the future together. Contact us to schedule a meeting about our sponsorship packages today. What's new at Impulse Summit this year? This year, we're breaking new ground by introducing a game-changing approach to education. Say goodbye to traditional educators and welcome our core specialists. These specialists are masters in their respective fields, delivering unparalleled expertise and communication skills. They're not just educators, they're invaluable resources for unlocking new levels of learning and growth at Impulse Summit. For the first time ever, we're bridging the gap between consumers and professionals, empowering both parties with unparalleled expertise. By equipping consumers with professional insights, we foster a deeper understanding and collaboration between professionals and their clients. Also introducing Her Made Over, our 501c3 makeover giveaway. At Impo Summit, we believe in giving back. The Cream Awards, a prestigious event honoring legends, iconic leaders, and path blazers in the beauty industry. Vendors, don't miss this opportunity of 3 days as we open our doors to the public as well. They will be looking for products and services that we've been promoting for this upcoming summit. It's Impo Summit, September 21st through the 23rd, Charlotte, North Carolina. For more information about our new events, go to imposummit.com.
Now, do y'all see why I have partnered with Miss Micheline Barber for this extraordinary event? It's not just another beauty event, beauty conference. This is about elevating in your mind, in your spirit, your mental health, your financial health. This is about getting you together. This is a place for you to come, for you to surrender, for God to meet you there, for God to bring you out whatever it is you're going through, for you to feel restored, for you to know that you have been called to do a thing, and for you to bring clarity to that thing, right? Because we're all put here for a reason. You come together with a lot of like minds to be inspired, to be empowered. Man, for me, as being an educator in this space, I'm always moved by the Holy Spirit in this space. So if you like events where the Holy Spirit resides, then Impulse Summit is that thing for you, September 2024. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. For more information, go to impulsesummit.com, or you can reach out to me and I will direct you or provide you with the link. You can send me an inbox or whatever you need to do. But by all means, grab your ticket. There's so much excitement, so much spirituality going on in that space. You don't want to miss it. You know what? This is my 4th year educating with Impulse Summit. So again, meet me there, because I will be one of your main stage educators, educating you about fading to white. Fading to white. What is that? That's that transition. That's that elevation. That's that thing that's going to take you to the next level so that you can support your clients with more than just their hair care. This is not about hair care. This is about health care. This is not about hair loss. This is about health loss. And I want you to transition to white with me. So meet me there in September, North Carolina. All right, you guys, we have been with you now for an hour and a half, and we don't want to hold you. Jess, you want to lead the people with some last words?
Yeah, so join us at ID October 19th through the 23rd for some jam-packed information. You don't want to miss it. If you are in the industry and you don't know where to turn, you don't know, you're looking, this is the place for you to be. It is going to be life-changing. It's always been life-changing. It's very informative. The guest speakers that we have on board are filled with so much information that is necessary for you to propel your business to the next level. If you're stuck and you don't know which way to turn, all roads lead to ID, and we welcome you in the space.
Absolutely. So I can't top that. I thank you guys for joining me. I pray that you found value in this session, that you found inspiration and empowerment in this session, and that you found education in this session. Until we meet again next Tuesday, you be good to yourselves. I love you guys, and have a good night.
I love her approach to business. I love her approach when it comes to beautypreneurs, because we have a different kind of business, and not everyone who is a business strategist or a tax strategist understands our industry. And she is a beast at helping you build your business and build wealth inside of your business with money that you already have that you just didn't know that you were going to have. So I want to invite her up. You guys give her a round of applause, please.
Y'all could really do better than that. My name is Marsha Mayfield, and I am a CEO.
I am Robertine Gibbs, and I am a CEO. My name is Tam Waters, and I am a CEO.
My name is Eugene Angela. I'm CEO. My name is Jasmine Gordon. I'm CEO.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jeray Swinton. I am a CEO.
Is this one?
I want to speak loud. I'm Jacqueline Mathis, the CEO of Satura Stars. CEO Kristen.
Yeah.